the father of mankind. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So this particular section, verse number 1 to 7, deals with the history of Bhagavad Gita. And here Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna. He is telling, I instructed this science of yoga or this Bhagavad Gita. I spoke this Bhagavad Gita to, first Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, but based on this verse.
Sun God.
I instructed this imperishable science to Sun God. And what is the name of Sun God? Vivaswan. Then Vivaswan spoke it to Manu. Who is Manu?
Father of mankind.
And son of? Manu is son of, Manu's father is? Brahma. Brahma's son is Manu. And then Manu, he spoke it to Ikshvaku. Okay. Can you go to the last paragraph of the purport at the present moment? Okay, somebody can read this last paragraph of the purport.
At the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga, which lasts for 432,000 years. Before this, there was a Dwapar Yuga, 800,000 years, and before that, there was Treta Yuga, 1,200,000 years. Thus, some 2,005,000 years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of this planet Earth. The age of the current Manu is calculated to last some
305 million.
305,300,000 years, of which 120,400,000 have passed. Accepting that before the birth of Manu, the Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivaswan. A rough estimate is that the Gita was spoken at least 120,400,000 years ago. And in human society, it has been extant for 2 million years. It was re-spoken by the Lord again to Arjuna about 5,000 years ago. That is the rough estimate of the history of the Gita. According to the Gita itself, and according to the version of the speaker, Lord Shri Krishna, it was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan, because he is also a Kshatriya and the father of all Kshatriyas, who are descendants of the sun god or the Surya Vamsha Kshatriyas. Because Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas. Being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this knowledge is Apaurushya, superhuman. Since the Vedic instructions are accepted as they are without human interpretation, the Gita must therefore be accepted without mundane interpretations. The mundane wranglers may speculate on Gita in their own ways, but that is not Bhagavad Gita as it is. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted as it is, from the disciplic succession, and it is described herein that the Lord spoke to the sun god spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku.
So this is Kali Yuga. And
it says sun god spoke to his son Manu. But Manu was the son of Brahma.
so what I am thinking, probably this Manu refers to another Manu who is son of some god. There is one, but then he is referred to as father of mankind. Father of mankind is son of Brahma. So let me double check on that. Okay. So here the history is spoken. So when did Lord Krishna appear on this planet? 5,000 years ago. And that's when Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. But before that, he spoke Bhagavad Gita around 120 million years. He spoke it to Sun God. So that was very much shocking. For example, if I say, just for example, that whatever we are discussing, I discussed the same thing around 2 billion years ago. And you're like, 2 billion years? What is your age, Prabhu? I'm like, I'm 40 years. So how can you speak something 2 billion years ago to somebody? So that was confusing to Arjuna. Krishna is like similar age as Arjuna, apparently. And then he says, I spoke this Gita 120 million years ago to Sun God. So we will see the response. Let's go to next. If you go at the bottom, go to next, you will see 4.2. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidhu sakale neha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession. What is disciplic succession? Like sun god to Manu to Ikshvaku, and it's coming down in a succession. And the saintly kings understood it in that way. So this was actually the book for the kings, the rulers of the world. And it is spoken directly by Krishna to Surya Dev and coming down like this. But in course of time, the succession was broken. And therefore, the science as it is appears to be lost. But when it was coming down, one of the king was kind of like not interested. So then he did not follow, and he did not give it to his generation. And then everything became distorted. The real knowledge and the real value of life became distorted. Okay, we go to number 3. Next verse. Sa evayam maya tetya yoga prokta paratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hyetaduttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So 2 points here is what Bhagavad Gita speaks about. Here Krishna says this science is the science of relationship with the Supreme. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is so that we can realize our relationship with Krishna. That relationship with Supreme. And then now it is again spoken just 5,000 years back to Arjuna. And why was it spoken to Arjuna? Because he was Krishna's devotee and Krishna's friend. Here it says, Bhakto sime sakha cheti. Sakha means friend. And Bhakto, devotee. Because Arjuna, you are my devotee and you are my sakha. And because you are these two things, you can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of the science. Because you are my friend and you are devotee, you will be able to understand this science. So Bhagavad Gita is a mystery. And why it's a mystery? Because just by reading Bhagavad Gita, we cannot understand. Who can understand Bhagavad Gita? Only a devotee and friend of Krishna can understand Bhagavad Gita. Others, when they read Bhagavad Gita, they won't get anything. They may get Bhagavad Gita for management, Bhagavad Gita for politics, Bhagavad Gita for this. But they won't understand Bhagavad Gita as our relationship with the Supreme. The science of relationship with the Supreme. That they won't be able to understand. They may take Bhagavad Gita as a book of life. They may be able to understand Bhagavad Gita in some material terms, but not as a book of relationship with the Lord. Okay? So who can understand Bhagavad Gita? A friend or a devotee. Those who are filled with it. That's why Srila Prabhupada also says Bhagavad Gita should be. What do I do with this?
It's one of those fancy technology books here.
So Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita must be heard from devotees. Bhagavad Gita should not be heard from professional reciters. Professional reciters means they just recite for the sake of reciting. Why? Because they themselves cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. They think they understand, but they don't understand. Because Krishna says it's a mystery. And only those who are devotees and bhakta, only they can understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. And when we understand through them, especially pure devotees of the Lord, then we will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. And that's why we are hearing Bhagavad Gita from a pure devotee, whose name is Srila Prabhupada. He has translated it and he has given a purport. And we are understanding is through him. And that's how we can understand Bhagavad Gita. Only a devotee can.
Free Wi-Fi is there, Netgear.
Huh?
Netgear is the free Wi-Fi. If anyone has data issue.
Okay, any questions so far up to this? Clear?
So before the devotee explained the Bhagavad Gita, was there anyone who understand Bhagavad Gita?
That's why it was coming down in disciplic succession. So Krishna spoke. Naturally, sun god is a devotee of Krishna. So sun god understood it. And he applied. He's a pure devotee. So he spoke to his son.
Yeah, so it was going, but it's broken down with time, right?
And even though the books may be there, if the succession is broken, even though Bhagavad Gita book may exist, the essence will be lost. Because they cannot understand from book. It is coming down through a succession. So they could understand. So Krishna again started the succession from Arjuna. So Srila Prabhupada said, I am not Tom, Dick and Harry. I am 32nd in the disciplic succession directly starting from Krishna. And because we are understanding in a disciplic succession, so the way we are discussing from Srila Prabhupada, so this is coming down in succession directly from Krishna. And then it's getting passed on and on and on. And so the message will be conserved. And people will understand the actual relationship with the Supreme through that succession. Otherwise it will become more like a spiritual entertainment. And people say, no, you should just be humble and you should not act on pride. But this is not the purpose of Bhagavad Gita.
Can we take the lock off of that so you don't have to worry?
Yeah.
Rosie can.
Yeah. You need
Thank you.
intelligent people here.
That's it.
Please answer question to me.
Yeah, so it means like since 5,000 years, now we have the actual meaning of Gita.
In the
Wow.
succession.
In the-
Yes.
But it was broken before that.
Yes.
And that's how Lord Krishna
That's why he came.
just do that.
And why he spoke, why is next two verses speaks on this. Huh? Where?
So, as you said, we cannot understand it by reading only. But if we are reading Prabhupada book, then it is possible to understand, right?
Yes. If you read Prabhupada with purport, you'll be able to understand. But there also we'll be able to understand based on our realization. Like, yesterday I was discussing in a program, 3rd chapter. We are on 4th chapter. And some words I understood only like 2 months back in the 3rd verse. Although I am reading Bhagavad Gita 15 years. And I am like, oh, one more verse decoded. Slowly all the jewels are coming one by one. Don't come in the beginning. So Bhagavad Gita will be able to understand based on our realization. And you read Bhagavad Gita once, you will feel, oh wow, this is amazing. You read again, after 2 years, you feel like, I don't think I understood Bhagavad Gita ever. You read again after 2 years, you feel like, wow, this is the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is spoken from pure consciousness. We are listening from one consciousness. So we will understand at our level. And then, because Bhagavad Gita is all pure, that Bhagavad Gita reading itself will push us there. And then when we read again the next time, we'll understand more deeply and more deeply. And everything in Prabhupada's purport and translation we'll be able to understand only when we are there. But then that should not discourage us not to read, because reading itself will take us there. And along with reading, we are chanting, we are coming in association, we see the deities, we do arati, we do kirtan, and we do. So everything is uplifting, uplifting, uplifting. And the more we make progress, the more we understand. And especially when we read in association of devotees, then it becomes even easier, because that much level we can understand directly. Okay, and then more, and then so it becomes much more easier. Like Prabhupada also says, self-study of Bhagavad Gita will not help much. We will understand, it will help us, anytime it's beneficial, but when it is read in association, then we are directly understanding some level of it by asking questions, by understanding. So this much we got already. And then more, and it's faster, it's easier. Okay, any other question? Yes, Rashmataji, what is the question?
Full pani hai udhar.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yes, Mamsi. Next time, when will you speak Gita? Again? On this earth planet? After Monday of Brahma. And that's like few trillions of years. But this science of disciplic succession, the science of Bhagavad Gita, will remain on this planet for 10,000 years, unbroken. After 10,000 years, people become diverted because of the effect of Kali Yuga. Then again, they will be out of trouble. People will have no understanding of what's life about. Okay? Okay, so we go to the next one. You click, we don't have projector screen somehow today. So we are reading from vedabase.io and we are on 4.4. Arjuna Vacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivashvata Katham Etat Vijnaniyam Tvam Adau Proktavaniti. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Clear? So he's like, 200 million years ago you spoke, and he's so senior in age to you. So how do I understand that you spoke this science to sun god? Okay. So I think no discussion on this. Okay. We go to number 4.5.
Why did he speak to sun god?
Because see, the leaders, if they have proper knowledge, then they will guide in knowledge. But if leaders don't have knowledge, then what do they guide? Like we see, in India, I think still Modi is the president, right? So, Prime Minister. So you see how positively he is impacting. I mean, not here, no political what you see. Okay. But then he is a devotee. When even Ram Mandir, I mean, different people say different things, so I don't want to get into it, and that's not my expertise also. But if the leader is a pure devotee, it's highly beneficial. Alright? But if leader is not, then wars will happen and all these things will happen, and he won't take any action. Okay. So number 4.5. Sorry, you can open on phone vedabase.com, vedabase.io.
Free Wi-Fi is not here.
4.5. Nandula Prabhu is here. Okay. In the meantime, we can start reciting. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni me vyatitani Janmani tava charjuna what it said. Many, many births. Both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them. But you cannot. O subduer of the enemy. So Arjuna is asking, Krishna, Sun God is so senior to you by birth. How do I understand that you spoke this science to Sun God? And what is Krishna telling? Many, many births, both you and I have passed. And I can remember all of them, but you cannot. O subduer of the enemy. So any one of you know your past life? Or 100 lives before, or 1,000 lives before, 10,000 lives before. But Krishna remembers everything about his past. Now, a question. Does Krishna takes many, many births? No. But here Krishna says, many, many births both you and I have passed. So how do we understand that? Clear? Krishna is saying both many, many births both you and I have passed. But the difference is I remember all of them, but you don't. So I spoke this science to Sun God 200 million years ago. And now, again I am speaking this to you. But you have forgotten everything, huh?
Expansion of different forms.
Okay, for the answer, we will go to the next verse. We will discuss on this concept of many, many births for a few minutes. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san
Bhutanamo Ishvaro Apisham
prakritim swam adhishthaya sambhavami atmamayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So Krishna himself speaks about himself as Ajo. Ajo means unborn. So Krishna says, but I don't take birth. And then he says, Bhutanam Ishvaro. Bhutanam means all living entities. Ishvaro means I am the Lord. I am God. I am the Lord of all living entities. And for me there is no birth. And then it says, my transcendental body never deteriorates. So somebody may think, oh, Krishna takes birth and Krishna dies, and Krishna again takes birth and Krishna dies. So all that is like he just remembers his past life, but for him there is birth and death. So what happens when there is death? The body deteriorates, right? But Krishna says, my body is transcendental and it never deteriorates. And then it says, although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So what many, many births for Krishna means, in every millennium Krishna comes and goes and comes and goes and comes and goes. Krishna does not take birth, Krishna does not die. He just appears and disappears, appears and disappears. And that's what Krishna is referring to as many, many times I have come here in this material world. But it's not like we change bodies and from human maybe to a demigod or maybe to a bird or maybe to, it keeps changing. But not for Krishna. Krishna comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. He is unborn. How he took birth from Devaki's womb? Did he took birth in a small baby? Came like how a child comes from the mother? He directly appeared from the heart of Devaki by answering how he was born. That's how she can help us. So Krishna manifested directly from the heart of Devaki into four-headed Narayan form. Krishna did not appear in a like how a child is born. And there is no death for Krishna. Krishna sat on the chariot and flew, went back to Vaikuntha Lokas. And he himself is telling, I am Aju, I am Anpa. My body is transcendental. Transcendental means spiritual. Our body is material. The nature of material things is there is a lifespan. Anything material has a life. This mic has a life. This thing has a life. This universe has a life. This body has a life. This chair has a life. This church has a life. I'm quite positive few hundred years from now there will be some other building here. Everything has a life. But Krishna's body is transcendental, not material. Completely spiritual. Unborn. And he himself is claiming that I am Bhutanam Ishwara Viha. I am the Lord of all living entities. Okay. Everyone seems very tired. Yes.
Prabhuji, like when you say that Krishna's body is transcendental, when he's on this earth, does he have a material body, or it is still at that time it was transcendental as well?
Yeah, see, he says, my transcendental body. So Krishna never has a material body.
Then how other people interact with him, like touching him,
Yeah.
all this stuff?
The Lord manifests his spiritual body by his own mercy, but it's completely spiritual. But others people cannot understand that it's spiritual. Others think there is no difference between me and Krishna. It's just he's blue complexion, I am grey or white or brown complexion. They think they see him from a material platform. But he's telling, sir, there's a difference between you and me. I am the Lord of all living entities. I am unborn. I come and I go whenever I want. And I give this knowledge. But Arjuna, you have birth and death. And I remember everything whenever I've come in the past. So for him there is no forgetfulness of memory, or there is a birth and he forgot. It's just he goes and comes back. For him it's one life and that's eternal. He just goes back to his home and come back to this material world and goes back to his home. His home is Golok Vrindavan, that is Vaikuntha Loka. Spiritual world. Goes, come back. For him, one. But for us, psyche. That is the difference.
But he has also all the relationships.
All the relationship.
Everything. He has a wife, he has a kid.
In Dwarka, he has family. Those are also eternal actually. All the associates of Krishna are eternal. And when Krishna descends from spiritual world, all the associates of Krishna also descend with him. Alright? Okay. So we go to number 7, right? Everyone is very happy to see this verse. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya pradatmanam shriyamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So Krishna says, I come whenever there is a decline of religious principles. And why religious principles decline?
Because of broken success.
Because knowledge was lost. The knowledge is coming down. So when people don't understand Bhagavad Gita, they'll start becoming irreligious. And because succession was lost, the kings became irreligious, the population became irreligious. Nobody has the knowledge. So everyone started acting in an erratic way, in a mad way, or with ignorance. So irreligion was prevalent everywhere because nobody knows what's right, what's wrong. Nobody knows one's relationship with the Supreme. Everything is lost. And then adharma or irreligious activities arise. Krishna doesn't want that. Krishna wants everyone to live in knowledge. So he comes again to give knowledge. And then some great souls, like sitting in this Masonic center, are eager to hear that knowledge of Bhagavad Gita again. Anybody who hears this knowledge, their life will become perfect if they apply. They will actually, a religion will go away from their heart. They will feel inner divine joy in their lives. But it's gradually. They'll become perfect examples for human society. Anybody who hears and understands this message. But how many people in Lansing and how many are eager to hear this message here? You tell people, we are going for a movie, of course I'll go. Then I'll miss Hare Krishna program. We are going to this birthday party, of course birthday party is a preference. How about this potluck? Of course, potluck. So Hare Krishna comes as the last priority. When there is nothing to do, then we'll go to Hare Krishna program. Then also better to sleep and better to watch television. So then what is the activity? Then a religion will arise. In this Kali Yuga, people are not much interested. Actually, in previous ages, people were so eager that they will go to the saints to hear. People go to ashrams in Vrindavan and various places to hear about the Lord. But here the saints are like beggars. They go home to home and they say, please listen this Bhagavad Gita. Get lost from here. All right, sir, please will you listen? It is said this will happen in Kali Yuga. The saints will become beggars. But in previous ages, people will go to the saints and say, tell us about self-realization. They were seekers. But now the age is degrading. So even if you call them, text them, please come to this Bhagavad Gita. They're like, life is so busy. What are you? If you don't say it, they become fed. So then when the knowledge is lost, then Krishna says, adharma will arise. And then Krishna says, then I come to establish dharma. And how does Krishna establish dharma? Two folds. First is Krishna gives his knowledge. And the second way he established dharma is next. This is number 8. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. So millennium after millennium means once in a day of Brahma. Millennium refers to 1 day of Brahma. So one day of Brahma. So once in a day of Brahma, Krishna appears. And then he does 3 things. First, anybody who is adharmic, what does he do? He takes his Ashan Chakra. Vinashaya cha dushkrita. Why? Because if they remain, adharma will arise. And then paritranaya sadhuna, those who are sadhus and they are getting tormented by dushkrita, impious people, Krishna gives them protection. Those who are saintly. Krishna removes those who are non-saintly. And then Krishna gives knowledge to those who are in middle. And then kind of. Yeah. We are kind of middle, that's why we are still here in Hare Krishna program in this Masonic church and listening to Bhagavad Gita. Yes. We are seekers. Okay, any questions so far? Yes.
So here it says that like when we do the adharma and all these things. So depending on different religion, what is dharma in one religion is different in other. I don't want to explain in relative, but it's like there are different religions right now altogether. So what is the, like, then they might say that, okay, why would we reaching Gita? Like, why whatever written here in Gita is the dharma, and going beyond that, that will be adharma. They might not consider that one. That's one question, and I have another question. Another question is like, Krishna comes millennium after millennium to save those who did the good thing and kill the bad people like that. Like when, like what decides like I have to come right now? Why not before or after or something like that?
Everything is written in scriptures. And exactly at what time Krishna comes.
Why? Like let's say why he can't come now? Like means like now also dharma is happening.
But if he likes, he can. But then he can do anything he likes. But he just follows the rules he has set. So he has mentioned that I will come in 528th Dwapar Yuga, in the day of Brahma. So he comes whenever 528 Dwapar Yuga comes, he comes. And he comes, and he comes. He's busy man. For him to come more frequently, stop. I'm just joking, he can do whatever he likes. But that's how it is mentioned. And then why Bhagavad Gita? Prabhupada says we have to follow a perfect authority. If you follow somebody who is not a perfect authority, who is some man-made things, then that's not a perfect authority. Then their understanding will be based on the consciousness of a person. When we are fallible,
What Prabhuji means is like Islamic rule, it's nowhere connected with the Bhagavad Gita, but those people will follow that guidance.
they are connected to. We have presentations on how Islam is spoken by Prophet Muhammad. One thing is the different knowledge is spoken based on time, place, circumstances. Time, place, circumstances means based on the situation. For example, I gave this example earlier. If you are a software developer, senior software developer, and then you speak to a software developer, another who is senior, then your level of talks is very in-depth. You will ask about a particular feature of a particular tool with a particular problem in it, and you can talk. But if you come to me and say, oh, and this tool and this feature and this, then I'm like, oh, what are you talking? Then to explain me, you have to start right from beginning. Oh, there is something called software. What is software? Software is like the heart. Oh, heart. So you have to start from the basic to explain to me. But to somebody, you can just do like this. So likewise, when these great personalities come, and when people are very degraded, then they have to speak spiritual knowledge at their level to understand. So, but if you see Bhagavad Gita, see the speaker, God himself is the speaker, and see the listener, a pure devotee of the Lord. So very deep subject matter is spoken. But then Prophet Muhammad says, don't have sex with your mother and sister. So he has to speak such a thing because such degradation was there in the society that time. So he has to speak things so people elevate. Hey, don't eat cows. So he has to speak such things. But that Krishna doesn't have to speak to Arjuna, it's irrelevant. Doesn't have to speak, don't do these things and don't. He's an Arya. So the high subject matter was spoken to Arjuna. That's why it is said that few verses of Bhagavad Gita can explain the entire Bible. And Jesus Christ himself said, I have so much to say, but you guys are not ready. In the Bible he says that. You guys are not ready to listen. So he spoke like there was Adam, there was Eve, and there was an apple. So Krishna is not explaining to Arjuna, there was an apple. I told them not to eat this apple, but they ate the apple. No, Krishna is speaking about dharma samsthapanat. It's very high actually. So it's like if there's a kids school, we are starting kids school. So by mistake I press a button.
Sorry.
So if you start a kids school, then we won't explain kids like this. But then you say kids, there is kids Bhagavad Gita to explain them in their own way, right? So Jesus Christ, this Bible and Prophet is like It's Bhagavad Gita. Okay, understand it from this story and from this parallel. But then there were many changes to it by some people. Like one of them said to make people serious, one life, eternity, hell, if you don't follow. So builds fear in people so they become more serious. And that's not something. And if Jesus doesn't speak about reincarnation, then they brought it like, we don't believe in reincarnation, only one life. So then it has been changed many times. But Bhagavad Gita says 5,000 years same. Although the translations have changed, the verses say for 5,000 years. So it's spoken based on time, place, circumstances. See the situation then you describe. But then we say that is also pure, but there is a lot more depth. Like how Jesus explained the creation. Jesus said, God said, let there be day and night. Day and night came. That's what Jesus said. Let there be earth. Earth came. Let there be. And in 7 days creation was done. But then when we read creation, there's Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, there's Brahma comes and then he's praying and offering. And then there is then Mahatattva and then how false ego was created. It's like after hearing also you're like, but then Jesus Christ explained it in a way, day and night. But he's bringing the same point, creation of God. We are son of God. Don't try to make home in this temporary, but make your home in a kingdom of God. So he's giving the same principles. But he's explaining in a way you explain to our children, because people, now today we are speaking about God, we can go and outside and speak about God. Nobody will put us in downtown Masonic center and crucify us because we are speaking about God. Why? Because people are so degraded and so envious that's how they treat saints. But this is not the case today, right? So people are more elevated. So he spoke based on time, place, circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yes.
Prabhuji, I want to make a comment on it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So I've heard that before, that every time, like every second, there is a Krishna Leela going on in some another universe, because there is
Yes.
a concept of multiverse. So
Yes.
it's not like Krishna came and then he will come back again. For our planet, for our universe, he will come back one day
Correct.
after Brahma. But every time, every second, there is a Krishna Leela going on in
Yeah.
some another universe.
How many universes are there? Unlimited. So he performs his pastimes here, he disappears from here, he goes to the next universe, next universe, next universe. By the time he covers and comes back here, millions of years pass by. Krishna is a busy man. He has a lot of responsibilities. It's one aspect of Krishna, although there is another aspect of Krishna also for future. Okay, good for now.
Thank you, Prabhuji. But Pranay Prabhuji has a question that is there in my several years in my mind. Now it is clear now. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, Naveen.
So he started with talking about dharma. I just want to know first of all what is dharma, and how dharma is different in different religions. I guess he thinks like every religion have a different dharma.
There is only one dharma.
Yeah, I guess that's the principle, like the basic human principle are same, and people are just like.
And Muhammad Prophet and Jesus Christ gave the same dharma.
Yeah.
And dharma is described in Bhagavatam as Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yatho Bhakti Adhokshati. You render bhakti to the unborn. Yatho Bhakti Adhokshati Ahitupiya Pratihataye Atma Suprasidati. Unmotivated, uninterrupted bhakti yoga devotional service to the Supreme Lord. That's what Jesus said. That's what Prophet said. Allahu Akbar, Allah. Now in middle, people may be misdirected and there may be many violence. But then you go and they sit for namaz, means they chant 100 names of God every day. Yato Bhakti Radhokshati. Same Christ also. God my Father, give me my daily bread. We don't ask Krishna for daily bread. We ask Krishna for good chanting. Devotee association. Pure devotion. We don't ask Krishna for bread. But then if you are in that situation, it's fine to ask bread also. But bhakti, that is the dharma for all living entities. And this is the question asked in the first chapter by the sages. What is dharma? And they said dharma is continuous service to the divine. That's all what dharma is. But it's difficult to do continuous service.
I have a question, not a question. I've read, we were talking about Bhagavad Gita, and I've read Bhagavad Gita so many times, but like Shiksha Guru, like you, when you explain, I do
think we should go to the
understand, but I
next
do
one.
not understand clearly. But by attending these sessions for decades, it has enlightened me some. I'm still very fallen. I have a long way to go. But Prabhupada is no longer here. But he left us this direction,
Yes.
the supreme book that we have.
Yes.
I know many people don't have time to read that.
Yes.
But if they attend this program of ours, and you are so unselfish to come and give us your
You can speak anything
knowledge
other
to
than
us,
speaking about
Guruji.
me. It makes me very uncomfortable.
And it is so, I can understand so clearly, than reading the Bhagavad Gita. I've also realized that we kind of analyze Bhagavad Gita so much. We should not be analyzing, the words are right there. Your lectures are so clear. We always question about this and that, and then it's right there in the Bhagavad Gita. We got the
Yes.
book, and if we
Read it.
read, we understand.
So Mata is telling in essence, please pick up Bhagavad Gita and read it.
Yeah.
And I agree with her. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mata.
Thank you.
In the,
Yes.
the seventh verse also it mentioned like the Bhagavad to Sakshat Dharma to Sakshat Bhagavad Pranita. So right. The previous verse 4.7.
No. That is not from Bhagavad Gita. But what that says is, whatever Krishna does is dharma. Krishna is the one who defines dharma. And we follow the dharma that Krishna defines. Okay, let's go to the next verse. 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata tattva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode over Arjuna. So one thing that Krishna says, first Krishna defines who can attain my eternal abode. That clarifies that Krishna has an eternal abode. Some people may have questioned, is really there is Vaikuntha Lokas? Is really there spiritual world? Then Krishna comes to this material place and he says, such people can attain my abode. So it's like if you want to know how to go back to Godhead, then Krishna gives one qualification here. One qualification he spoke is how to understand this message. And that he says, only my devotee and my friend can understand this message of Bhagavad Gita. And here he says, who can come to me? And then he says, Janma karma cha me divya. Janma means birth. Karma means deeds or activities. Divya means light. Enlightenment. So it's basically spiritual, transcendental, divya. So one is bhautik and one is divya. Divya means spiritual language. So janma karma cha me divya. Evam yo veti tatvata. Tattva means to know. Evam yo veti tatvata. One who knows this truth. That my birth and my activities are transcendental. Tattva deham punarjanma. Deham means deha, body. Tattva means to give up, to give up. Tattva. Tattva deham punarjanma nahiti. Means
There will be no
Rebirth.
rebirth of
Mameti.
Mom.
He comes to me. So Arjuna. He will not take birth in this world, but he will come to me. So Krishna is describing that this world is cycle of birth and death. But who understand me, he will come to me and he won't have to go through cycle of birth and death in this world. And the qualification is one who knows that my birth and my activities, my appearance and my activities are transcendental.
What does it mean to know that the activities and appearance are transcendental? Because if it's like as simple as this line, then we all are liberated.
Yeah.
Because it's not as easy as this.
Bro, please take me also back to God.
So there should be something hidden in this, right? That knowing it transcendentally.
We don't understand Krishna. Basically what it means is when we actually understand Krishna, who he is, we go to him. We have some idea about Krishna, but we don't really understand him.
So what does understand mean?
Okay, if I say Krishna married 16,108 queens, then people will think, why did he marry 16,108 queens? And thinking his activities material means maybe he liked those queens, so he married them. So this is like bringing him on a material platform. Or we may think, there are many pictures of Krishna and gopis, and they're defined like gopis are lusty personalities and Krishna is lusty personalities, and they're trying to fulfill lusty desires. So again, we are thinking Krishna's activities are material. Krishna says, nobody understands how everything I do is divya. Everybody considers Krishna's activities and pastimes based on their level. If I have to steal the clothes of gopis, then the reason I would like to steal, that's the same reason Krishna stole their clothes. The reason I want to have so many wives is the same reason why Krishna had so many wives. So we always, naturally, we understand Krishna only up to our level. See, anybody we understand will be based on our consciousness. We cannot understand a personality higher than us. If we see a personality higher than us, we'll somehow try to bring him to our level and see, now it's equal. It's natural tendency. Cannot understand somebody beyond us.
So it means like we need to go to transcendental plane.
You got it, Prabhu. You can understand Krishna only when you become as pure as Krishna. Till that time, we'll understand Krishna based on our consciousness. And when you get there, you go there. We may have theoretical understanding also, but then very soon, here and there, we'll understand Krishna's possible at our level. It's just not possible to understand Krishna. But we have to raise ourselves to understand him. Being situated here, sitting in Masonic Center on this chair, at this level, cannot understand. To raise our consciousness there to get to his level. And how that happens, Krishna says through bhakti. But when we associate with Krishna, we start becoming like Krishna. And we raise our consciousness by bhakti. When we get there, we understand him. When we understand him, we escape. Okay, clear on this verse? Why it seems so easy, but it's the highest stage to understand Krishna.
You were saying just now, Bhagavad Gita is so high level.
When you understand Krishna, you understand Bhagavad Gita fully, you understand pure devotees fully, you understand Krishna's name fully, you understand everything perfect. And definitely you are qualified to go back. It seems so easy, no? Yeah, I accept Krishna's birth and activities as transcendental. Now I am good for this life. Okay, any other question?
Prabhuji, I want to make a comment here that
Yes, ma'am.
the knowledge is so huge and high level that we cannot understand if I try to do on my own. So for that you have to come and associate with other devotees, because Krishna has mercy on other devotees and they will take you that you are their associates. So you will, once you associate with other devotees, once you start worshipping Krishna, then the knowledge will start to realize on yourself.
He was telling me. We did that discussion in the beginning.
Okay, so let's do one last one for today. Last verse for the grand finale of today. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashuta bahavo jnana tapasa bhuta madbhavamagata. Being free from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. And Krishna is telling this is not difficult and this is nothing new. Many in the past have attained me. So he is telling, if you understand me, you will attain me. But don't think it's something impossible. Many in the past, they became free from fear, anger and attachment. They became completely attached to me just by the practice of devotional service. And they attained love for me and they came to me. So if you follow in that direction, you will also attain me. It's very encouraging. Now we have anger, we have fear and we have attachments, all those things now. But just by the process of bhakti yoga, devotional service should become free from that. We don't focus on what all negativities I have, because we go to depression actually, what all things bad made up of. But then we can focus on rendering service to the Lord, and the Lord takes care of everything within us. We become free, we develop love for Him, and then we go back to Him. We become fully absorbed in Him. When we are attached, then we become absorbed in our attachments. But then when we don't have attachments in this world, or fear or anger, then we can become absorbed in Him. Then we take shelter in Him, and all those who have done that, they became purified. Became purified by knowledge of me. By hearing about Krishna, we will become pure. Just by sitting here for past 1 hour, we went from X% to X plus 1% in our spiritual life. So in this way, if you attend 100 sessions probably. Yes, Prabhu.
Is chanting the best way to understand Krishna, or,
Yeah.
or it is reading Bhagavatam?
They are both completely spiritual. Both will uplift us. They are the two most important aspects of bhakti. But we will be able to understand Bhagavatam better when we chant Krishna's name. All we have to do is go to your home while driving back. You have to, if you like, you can use your tongue. Instead of speaking about Bangladesh, you can chant Hare Krishna Bhagavatam. Or this one and that one, or this politics and this, we can chant Hare Krishna Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
See, when we speak about Krishna, discuss about Krishna, chant Krishna's name, we feel divine.